going on, y'all? It's your boy ABC bringing you some more Pogo Bros content. And today I've got for you some Hisui Cup battles. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, yo, Beebs, Hisui Cup just ended. Come on, we're in Sunshine Cup now. And I know. Hear me out though. Alright, so I started with Hisui Cup last week on Tuesday when the leagues rolled around. And I started out with a 19-5 run. I couldn't believe it. I was just trying to put together a team just to feel out how the meta is going, and then suddenly I was just popping off with it, and then I even got as high as 2457 elo. I was on the doorstep of veteran, and I'm like, okay, I can just make a veteran rank Hisui Cup video. But then suddenly the team wasn't working so hot. Everyone's using Gastrodon and Drapion, and there's only so much you can do. So I tinkered the team. I fell down. I tinkered the lineup a little bit. And then I got back into the 2400, so I was getting close. And then I fell again. And then I got up. And then fast forward to about a couple days ago, I'm about at 2200. And I'm today back to 2300, and now the league shifted. So veteran didn't happen, but I still got some really cool battles for you. And I think you're going to really enjoy them. So that's what I got for you today. Forgive me for not, being current with the current league shift, but we're still gonna have some good fun, good vibes, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel or hear from one of my shorts or TikTok, welcome, and thank you for giving this channel a shot. Definitely stick around for this video. If you like spicy, fun, entertaining battles, you're in the right spot. If you like good vibes and bad humor, you're also in the right spot. But also, if you're returning here, please give this video a like, comment, tell your friends to subscribe. It really helps the channel out. But let's get a little more into this team before we start. The one that really sticks out here, literally, because it's very pointy, is overqwil. Surprisingly, I didn't see a lot of quillfish. I maybe only saw a handful. But overqwil was actually really nice. It's a rank 2, and it was nice during the event that I only needed to raid once with it in order to evolve it. But it was very nice to win CMP against pretty much everything not named Lucario. So that's going to be the main feature of this showcase, but also anytime you can use the rank 1 drifblim, it's going to be a good time. And then Shadow Hippowdon proved to be a very valuable safe swap in this meta. So without further ado, let's get into these battles. Alright, first one we have Probopass in the lead. Very, very unique Pokemon. This is the only one that I saw during my time in this cup. If I had a good one, I might have run it myself because it's pretty interesting, but it's nice to chip it with the Aqua Tail and then switch out, and then they have their Dust Noir non-shadows, so we can definitely tank a Shadow Punch here. We're going to throw on good timing. This Scorching Sands will do a lot of damage if they let it through, and they do, and we get the attack drop as well, and they go for a Shadow Punch, and we're able to survive it and farm them down. And alright, hear me out. You see that we reached the Scorching Sands right there, which they let through of all things. I was tapping so fast with the Sand Attack fast move to where my thumb was covering up the Scorching Sands button, so I honestly didn't know where I was at with my energy, and I thought for sure that I was going to be taken out with one fast move, and of course it doesn't take them out. So we're trying to climb back out of a negative situation in this matchup here. We do go for the Icy Wind. They do shield it up, and then they have a Drifblim in the back of the Shadow variant, so we will be able to take one Icy Wind, but definitely not two. So we're going to throw this. We're actually going to bait right here. And the opponent lets it through. This is really bad, so I just go full send here. Playing to my win con. If they shield, they win. And they don't. And then we get the triple resisted Poison Sting farm down. The opponent is in shambles. GG's. Alright. And so in the lead here, you're going to see a Drapion, and that was very common in this meta. And it's kind of a toss-up here because definitely the Quillfish is bulkier. But we do win CMP, which is nice, but we can't really tank these Aqua Tails as well as the Drapion does. So oftentimes I didn't really get a uniform way of playing this one out. Sometimes I'd shield one up before they do. Sometimes I'd purposely not want to go on CMP tie. But here we both end up swapping out at the same time, and they go into a Gastrodon, and so we're able to hard punish them with our Drifblim here. And at this elo range, the Gastrodons were not running Water Pulse, they were just running Earth Power, so we were able to farm them down really without any threat of damage, and we're actually able to get a huge farm down to where we get to at least one move against the Spiritomb. We're gonna full send, they let it through, and then now we're gonna snipe them with the Aqua Tail. We get their last shield. Their sucker punches aren't doing anything, and we still do outpace to the next move, so we're able to take them out. And then the Drapion's in, and we get to the last Aqua Tail before they're able to farm us down, and we get that win. GG's. All right, Barrel. All right, so remember how I said I got really close with the Elo? Barrel was the problem. Someone put out a Barrel video, and then I saw about 5 in a row, and that's when I had to change things up, because it pretty much walls my moveset on the overqwil when it's running Shadow Ball, and eventually I did have to change it to Dark Pulse, which turned out to be a lot better for me. But as you see, this thing is running through our team, taking both shields while we have yet to take one of theirs. So we're going to throw the Scorching Sands, and they let that through. No debuff this time, but we do outpace them to the next move here, and we get them very low, and we lower their attack. We have residual energy on the overqwil, and we take them out. They let it through, and then they have a Drapion, so this is very good. We're able to throw off this Aqua Tail here, and it's on a CMP tie, so they do waste their energy, which is very nice. So we're gonna, obviously that's gonna go through, and then we're gonna wait our switch clock out here, and then go in with the hippowdon, and then we make the next catch onto our drifblim, which is very valuable because we store valuable energy on our hippowdon, and we're actually chunking them a little bit with these astonishes because they're a lot glassier as the shadow variant. They take us out, but we do get that farm down. And now they just have their barrel, and we farm that down as well for the win. GG's. I didn't show a lot of the barrel video battles where we got pretty much wrecked and 1v3'd, so you get to see one of the good instances. But in this one right here, we did save swap our hippowdon, and they let that Scorching Sand through, which did a lot of damage. And we're able to get to that move, and we get to a third Scorching Sands before they farm us down. I don't have like a rank 1 or 2 hippowdon, Shadow Hippowdon by any measures, but it's definitely, I believe, like top 75. So that bulk definitely came in handy right there. And the opponent does outpace us to the next move. We can definitely shield up this Rock Tomb right here. And then they combo play us with a Body Slam. We likely could have survived that, but we want to maintain health on on the overqwil here. And now we're going to throw on Good Time against this Drapion. This will do valuable chip damage, and it allows us to survive one of their crunches, I would imagine. Yes. And then it also puts us out of farm down range, forcing them to throw the remainder of their energy. And so now we are able to come in with a lot of energy on the overqwil here. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball, taking them out, and then we have an Aqua Tail left over for the Drapion. GG's. Alright, next matchup. Lucario. Alright, Lucario was also a problem for this team. And pretty much, I feel like every time I saw Lucario, it was in the lead. So, I don't know who's doing the Lucario videos or the Barrel videos, but it kept your boy from getting veteran, so thanks. Anyways, we go into our Hippowdon, and then they came in with the Drifblim, which is not a bad matchup, because we can definitely survive a number of Astonishes, and we only need to shield up the Icy Wind, and we definitely outpace them to these Weather Balls. We actually flip switch advantage here, which is nice. Unfortunately, this Lucario, though, has an energy lead, and they can pretty much get to 2 moves here and take us out. We do shield up the 1 Thunder Punch, and it always becomes a game with Spiritomb whether to bait or not, but we actually get the right call here. So now we can come in with the overqwil, tank. Oh, and they actually go for Shadow Ball. I don't know if it does more damage than a single Rock Tomb, but either way, I'm happy with not getting debuffed on the attack. And so we get 1 shield, and the opponent is forced to throw energy here. Oh, they actually go for Power Punch, which is actually a very good play on their part, because they're able to actually bullet punch us down for the win. GG's. Alright, gosh, we're on the lead. Another reason why we couldn't hit veteran here. Very difficult situation, because then we'd save swap the Shadow Hippowdon, and then they come in, let's say, with... Usually they came in with a pretty hard punish, but Spiritomb is also pretty tricky, because if they shield up that Scorching Sands, usually they're able to flip that matchup. But we're actually able to flip this matchup here. only being debuffed once. These Scorching Sands will still hurt. No debuff right there. And we do get to another move. And one thing I noticed that these opponents definitely know their Weather Ball and Scorching Sand counts, because the only time we ever really saw them shielding up the bait was with the Lucario, and Lucario users pretty much shield everything. Same with Mamoswine users, as you see right there. And then we are going to call the bait. That is huge right there. And we're definitely going to get this Slash Shield here with the Aqua Tail. And they probably were going for Icicle Spear again, but we're able to shield that up. And we made sure to throw after 2 Poison Stings against this Gastrodon because we're able to survive the Powder Snows, but we did get extra farmed so we can outpace them to the remaining move, and we take them out for the win. GG's. And you see right there we had a 5-0, little Pancham action. It jumped over my throw, and see we were at 2361 right there, and I just kept recording, and the battles were looking good, everything was promising. And in this one, we have a spicy opponent here. They start with the Hisui and Electrode, and then they have a Shadow Palkia in the back. So luckily we get that shield for a double resisted bait. Now we are able to have a very comfortable matchup here with the Drifblim because these Astonishes chunk it heavily. We're able to survive 1 Aqua Tail, but we, in the process, have enough health to throw on good timing here against this Electrode and get this debuffing move off, minimizing the amount of farm they get. And they actually go for an energy lead on their Spiritomb, which is fine because we definitely have an answer in our Overqwil here, and we go for that Shadow Ball, which is fantastic. And then we tried to catch a Rock Tomb there. I don't know if I was brushed up on my Rock Tomb counts at that point in time, but they're going for Ominous Wind, so this opponent definitely doesn't have the right move set, and it allows us to shield once, farm them down, and then have charge moves ready for that Electrode. The opponent knows that it's over and they resign the match. GG's. Alright, oh, and then this was another positive set. These battles are kind of out of order too. And see, I was at 2390 right there. So the climb was definitely constant. I hadn't had an experience like that in a long time, so it was pretty exciting. And man, I could have had this video out last week, but it's okay. Alright. Getting off a Weather Ball before the Icy Wind debuff is definitely nice. So we just have to shield this up once, and we can definitely make it to 2 more Weather Balls before they get to their next Icy Wind, or go for an Astonished farm down. They actually let it through, so we win switch, and then they come in with a Lucario. So, as I said before, Lucario users will shield anything, and that's exactly what they did right there. So that was a very useful shield for us, but we have to get that thing down. So we definitely need our Drifblim for this, so we're just going to full send this Shadow Ball. Opponent lets it through, and that allows us to get a nice farm down here with the Overqwil. They're in no range to take us out, and that just gives us more farm right there. And we have nearly 2 Aqua Tails ready for this Lucario, one of which will be more than enough to take it out because of how glassy they are. And we get that win. GG's. Alright, next battle. Dusknoir in the lead. We saw a lot of these. They were definitely problematic, but definitely if we want to see it somewhere, we want to see it on the lead. And then they safe swap into their Drapion, so we're just seeing very meta team right here, but we do have an energy lead because they swapped out. So the idea here is to chip the Drapion and then let them throw some energy as well. Granted, this does throw off the switch clock, so now we might as well have lost switch in this instance, but I definitely want the Drapion to be gone. The opponent recognizes what we're doing, and they bring back in the Dusknoir. Luckily, we're able to get to the first charge move, and at this point, since we've debuffed them, we really have no reason to maintain the Drifblim here, because we can pretty much take care of this rather easily with the Shadow Hippowdon. I imagine this Rock Weather Ball will take it out. It does. And now the opponent has a Gastrodon in the back, so we're not out of the woods yet. Depends on how they want to play this shield game here. A debuff would be really nice. They let it through and we get the debuff, so that's very nice. And we're going to shield the Body Slam due to low health. And then we're going to go for this Rock Weather Ball right here before they get to their next move. They shield it up, and we have the Aqua Tail locked and loaded. Taking them out. And then they got the Drapion, and we get to the move with minimal HP. Let's go. Boom. GG's. Alright. Next match. Vespiquen. That's another staple in this meta. I would say a little more spicy than your average Pokemon, though. I wish I had a good one to use, because I definitely would. They're really cool Pokemon, but very spammy with the Fury Cutter buff here, and they're doing a lot of damage as well. So another reason why the Shadow Hippowdon is very good here is because we do double super effective with these weather balls, and we fell just short of taking them out, but we can shield this up, and the opponent recognizes that we could get a very lucrative farm down, so they switch out into their Drapion, which we're fine with. We can tank we can tank on Aqua Tail, but not too well. But they let it through, and we actually get the farm down before they take us out. So we have a move banked on the Hippowdon now, and there's a Qwilfish. I think this is the only Qwilfish that I saw during my battles in this meta, and we actually survived that Shadow Ball, which is crazy. And we we farm down their Vespa Queen too, so they can't even catch a move now, and they're stuck in this matchup here. We've got 2 Pokemon remaining, and we have the Aqua Tail locked and loaded. They shield it up, and we can get to this next one. They outpace us to the next move, but we have the move here, and we win that CMP tie. Overqwil's daddy here. Let's go. Boom! GG's. Yeah, there's a reason why we're Overqwil, because we're Overqwil fish. Alright, classic matchup here of the Poison Dark types. We're going to let them throw a move first. I really didn't want them to know that we win CMP, because I definitely wanted to be in a situation where either I force them to use a shield or to lose their whole Drapion, so that's kind of the logic behind that. But we get their shield now, and I know that they're going to throw right away, because they knew that they didn't know that we win CMP tie, and they threw right into our drifblim there. But of course they have a Spiritomb to punish us, but we're going to go for the Shadow Ball, and we get the last shield at the expense of being taken down, which is unfortunate. So now we're coming in with the Hippowdon here, and it's a bait game here. They go for the Rock Tomb, so we call it, which is fantastic. We do catch a move here. It's going to be the Rock Tomb, though, so we have to shield it up anyways, but we can overfarm now because they are dry on energy here. So dry, kind of like my mouth right now. I wish I had a glass of water with me. But we do get to the Shadow Ball with this Dust Noir, and that does massive damage. And then they try to switch out into the Drapion, but they get that farm down, unfortunately. But we have a move ready to go. I believe we farmed up 1 Sand Attack 2, and we can get the farm down of the Dust Noir. GG's. Alright. Shadow Empoleon, another Pokemon here. So this one has... I did 1 Poison Sting to see whether it had Waterfall or either Steel Wing or Metal Claw. If it has a Metal move, I'm going straight into the Hippowdon here, because it's actually a pretty good matchup for us. That probably threw the opponent off, and we had an energy lead going into their own Hippowdon of the non-Shadow variant. We do survive their Scorching Sand, so now we're able to get one off before they take us out, and they let it through. And since we've chipped them so much, they're doing nothing with their fast move pressure, and we can even tank our Weather Ball here. So we're gonna they had to switch out at the risk of being farmed down. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I played to a CMP tie here, so that was unfortunate. So I undercharged this completely to at least get 1 Astonish before taking it out, so maybe that'll help us in this remaining mid to end game here. And they come in with a Hippopotas, I don't know how to pronounce it, but they got double hippos here. This is a match with 3 hippos. We're 1 hippo away from playing a whole game of Hungry Hippos. This is, if you've seen my short, I definitely zeroed in on this match. Really cool to see the opponent with their own 2 hippos, and they actually made a great catch onto their other hippos. So these hippos are just going crazy right now. You know, there's dueling pianos, they're dueling hippos right now, and they're doing some work. So we got a little tricky end game here. I choose to come in with the Drifblim because they cannot farm us down. We get that Astonish through, and then we munch them down for the win. GG's. Nom 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 nom. All right, we got another. See, now this Empoleon has Waterfall, so we stay in. And if you notice, I got Dark Pulse on the Overqwil now, because I was tired of what Barrel was doing to me. So once we got that shield, we banked the energy, and then now we're in this mid-game matchup here where we can likely farm them down unless they switch out, and they have the Abomasnow. We're just going to full send here, doing heavy damage, and now they have to throw energy, or else they're going to risk being debuffed by a move that they don't need to shield. So Now we can go for a farm down here, which we do get. And the opponent is low enough now to where they're going to shield whatever we throw here. There we go. So we're going to bank that energy. They can't make it to another move. So now we're going to have an energy lead on this Vespa Queen here, and we do massive damage here. And the opponent is stuck to only throwing X-Scissor here, and that's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. We get to this move here. Takes them out. And then we're going to get some fast move damage before that waterfall registers, but it doesn't matter because we have the move loaded. And we're going to get this win. GG's. All right. Next match. Drapion in the lead. Yeah, it got boring after a while, guys. It was a fun cup, but the meta just got really stale, and there just weren't too many creative teams out there. So I tried to get the ones that are creative, but the reality is there were just a lot of the same Pokemon that I was seeing, and one could argue that I should have adjusted my team to account for that, but I'd rather do pretty decent with some spicy Pokemon rather than sell out and go for the meta. But that's just me. Here I don't know if they have Water Pulse or not, so I'm gonna go for the Icy Wind so that before they attack, and luckily I did, because now I can survive likely a second one should they reach it, and it looks like they are, but that debuff will come in handy. And look at that, minimal HP, minimal farm for the Drapion, works like a charm. So we get the shield there. They actually switch out to clear it, and we actually get an Astonish on the Dust Noir before being taken down, so that could prove to be very helpful, because now they're going to be more likely to shield up a Weather Ball here rather than having to build up to the Scorching Sands. Yes, they get that. They give us that shield, and then we have a little fun here. Thank you. Now we're able to overfarm here. Likely a Rock Weather Ball will do the trick here. Yes, it does. And then we've got energy for the Drapion. And then this Rock Weather Ball should do a lot of damage. It is not a shadow, so it won't take it out. But we do get that farm down afterwards. GG's. Alright. Spiritomb in the lead. I loved seeing these. And the way that I played these, I would just go for the Dark Pulse straight up, because I don't know why I followed. I don't know why PB Poke says give Shadow Ball to Overqwil and Qwillfish, because the damage is that. The raw damage is not much more than throwing a stab, Dark Pulse, and it costs a lot more. It costs one more Poison Sting of energy. So my logic is, if I throw after 6, they might say, I didn't build up to the Shadow Ball, and they're going to let it through. And then suddenly I've hit them with a very strong move. But sometimes they'd shield it up anyways, so it depends on the opponent. But anyways, I go here and I try to catch a move, and we're successful. Look at that. Triple resisted Dynamic Punch. You love to see it. Unfortunately, the opponent has a hard punish in the back with a very toxic Pokemon, one that I am very open about disliking. If you use Bastiodon, if you're a subscriber, you're cool. So, but if you're not subscribed yet, if you're new here, subscribe so that way we're, on the same page. Capiche? All right. All right, so we're gonna build up our energy here. These Aqua Tails do chunk a lot, which is also why I enjoy the Overqwil variant, because you're gonna have to shield up Stone Edges against the Bastiodon anyways. I'd rather have these Aqua Tails do a significant or do more damage than what you'd be getting from a Qwillfish here. So due to us banking so much energy, we're able to get to this Dark Pulse before being taken out, and we lose. Yeah, that happens with Bastiodon sometimes. And we got a Drapion in the lead again. Lovely. Hey, I know it's boring, but at least it's not like two Mandabuzzes going at each other. Now that's must-see television. No, not really. Okay, so here we are avoiding that CMP tie, but I want to preserve health so I can get this opponent in a situation where they're going to either, like I said before, be forced to shield. So here we go, play to that CMP tie. But they overfarm this time, so they're definitely going to be shielding this up. And now, yeah, so we're going to see if we can tank this. Oh, and they go for Crunch, which is good because they wouldn't have been able to get to another Aqua Tail against our Hippowdon, forcing them to switch into this Drifblim, but that gave us an energy lead. So that's kind of the logic behind that situation right there. Definitely going to overfarm here. And I realized that I should have overfarmed more before throwing, so I tried to undercharge it, but I still took them out. And they have a Vespa Queen, so I really wish that I had farmed up more energy right here. And they're definitely going to throw off this Power Gem right here, doing heavy damage. But We double resist their Fury Cutters here, so we're in no danger of being farmed down, and they have to throw a Power Gem to take us out because the next Scissor just won't cut it. So they are forced to throw energy after we have gotten them nice and low here. So this is going to be a very tricky end game. Going to wait out this switch clock. Come in with the hippowdon, and they go for the catch. We don't bite. And then we... Boom! Triple resisted. Scorching Sands, BM. Let's go. That's what you get. Alright. In this next match here. Yeah, that felt good. Alright, so now they've come into their Spiritomb, and we were able to get that move off. Like I said, I didn't build up to 7, so they probably assumed they had nothing to worry about. I just didn't build up to the nuke move, and I was just throwing an Aqua Tail, whatever they're thinking, but we're 10 moves ahead of this opponent right here. Catching the Rock Tomb on the Hippowdon, and by this point I did go to PV Poke and look up that it's 8 Sucker Punches to the first Rock Tomb and then 7 to the rest, so I had it all down right there. So we've got energy left and right here, and we're gonna get this Dark Pulse off right away, and the opponent just lets it through. And this is fantastic because we had residual energy for this Lucario here, because now we can switch out and these Astonishes will do a lot of damage, and we can shield up whatever the opponent throws here and not be worried about, you know, being taken out. Even if they Power Punch bait us, they're not gonna get into anything else. And we farm down the Spiritomb and get the win. GG's. Okay, spicy match right here. Let's go. Respect to this opponent. But the cool thing about Poison Sting and Aqua Tail is that we can throw right away after they get 3 fire spins through. So really good stuff right there. They're already a shield down, and then we had switched into our Hippowdon. They had to get the heck out of there, so we had to force them to make a quick decision, but that already gave us an energy lead against this Mamoswine. Luckily, they're shielding up whatever we throw, so now we can go for the Scorching Sands. And okay, so now we have their last shield, and let's see how much this does. It nearly takes them out, and then we snipe them with the Astonish. They were trying to get that farm down, and they are in trouble. So now we can get to this move here before they get to the Rock Tomb, and this should be taking them out. Boom! And then we farm them down for the win. GG's. Shout out to that opponent, though, for putting the Heat Train in there. I respect it. Alright. Shadow Abomasnow. Abomasnow was definitely also a core breaker for this team. Luckily, when I saw them, they were usually on the lead, but it still wasn't pleasant for... our overqwil here, and that Aqua Tail did a lot of damage, but it's definitely going to help in the long run because we can at least get this Drapion low and 4 shields in the process. So it's all about the long game when you see these Abomasnows in here, and like making sure you have energy on all your Pokemon, because if you have energy you can threaten it, but in a neutral situation where you have no energy, you're cooked. So we get the shield, and we just hard swap into the overqwil here, and they've got a Gastrodon as a hard punish, but with the pacing on Dark Pulse, we're able to get to another nuke move before they take us out. So either they're giving us the Gastrodon or they give us that shield, and they chose wrong, because now we are able to farm them down. They had got Water Pulse, sure, but they're not able to get to another one. Actually, they are. And we catch it, so good stuff right there. They might have completely undercharged that, but that's fine with us. They see the writing on the wall. GG's. Alright. Oh my gosh, another Drapion in the lead. Shocker. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get to this Aqua Tail here. We're not messing around. We're going to go ahead and get that chip damage, and the opponent knows that they shouldn't be throwing on CMP, so they're going to throw it right before we get there, and then we go on CMP right here. So now we can force that shield, and at this point we're going to probably see our win con with the Hippowdon, which we do, and then they switch into the Spiritomb here. We outpace them to the first charge move, of course, so we're going to put the heavy pressure on them. They give us their last shield. We get no debuff right there. And do they bait us? We're just going to full shield. And they go for the nuke, so this is fantastic because we can overfarm now, and we're not debuffed, so this will definitely take them out. And then now we have a little bit of residual energy for their back Pokemon, which is a drifblim, so this will definitely help in the chip department, which we do get. Gonna let this switch clock move a little bit so that way we can get a swap if we need to. As such, Exhibit A. Yes, sir. Now they switch out, and they see the writing on the wall. They don't want to face the music. That's fine. All right, Lucario in the lead. Tough lead here. but we're just going to go for some chip damage here. After a while, I realized that this is the way to go. Just chip it with, and then, you know, they're going to be like, okay, we can tank an Aqua Tail, but my back two Pokemon do heavy fast move pressures, so if you let one through, I'm going to try and farm you down for the remainder of the match. You can keep your shields, but we do call their baits. That's fine, so we can survive that, and we get to a move against the Spiritomb, so we're looking very good right here. We get that first shield here. We have a lot of health to play with our overqwil here. We don't care if they debuff us because it's going to take 2 moves to take them out anyways, but they have an Abomasnow here, so this is going to be very tough. They let it through, and we were oh yeah, we're in the bonus battle territory. So once I realized that veteran wasn't going to happen, I decided to power up my it's like 13, 14, 14 Shadow Cresselia that I want to build for Master League one day. But here I thought it was a good chance to use it in this cup here. It's got some unique coverage, like this Moonblast would send this Spiritomb packing, but we do get that last shield. And then we go for this Dark Pulse right here before any debuff is applied, and we put them very low health here. We can shield this up and get to the next move no problem, which is exactly what we're going to do here, leaving only the Abomasnow in the back. We do get a Poison Sting off of damage, and that allows us to Psycho Cut them down. GG's. But anyways, as I was saying, with Grass Knot on the Cresselia, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to use that against maybe a Gastrodon or a Babarrel, but suddenly the Babarrel started disappearing, and I was just kind of like, okay, of course. But, you know, it still had some pretty good battles with it, so I'll just let these ones play out a little bit. If you're still watching, thank you, by the way. I appreciate you sticking with me. But anyways, we're going to get this final shield here, and you guys know that Cresselia is bulky, but you'll see in some of these later matches that it's still bulky as a Shadow. That does a lot of damage, that Moonblast, and we can tank whatever they throw here, assuming they don't throw a Shadow Ball. I don't think they built up to it. Nope, we tank that Thunder Punch very well. Gastrodon throws a move here. I didn't trust the bulk of Cresselia yet, but it didn't matter because they had 2 moves, and we survived the Body Slam, so, you know, shout out to Cresselia right there. And then now they have the Babarrel in the back, and this is why we have Dark Pulse here, because we can do this. Look at that, nice neutral damage, and I'm sure we can tank a Hyper Fang here. We're fine. Hyper Beam, yeah, that's why this battle's in here, because, and one of my sources told me that Rise put out a Hyper Beam Babarrel video, and, you know, lo and behold, suddenly everyone's doing Hyper Beam Babarrel videos. So go figure. And look at that! That nearly took out a Cresselia. Granted, a Shadow one, but my goodness, that was insane. I'm glad we survived that. If that one shot me, I would have transferred that Cresselia right there and then. I had burned an Elite TM on it as well. I would have sent it packing, but the bulk kept it around, so shall I. Anyways, we do have the the Dark Pulse ready for this Babarrel. Babarrel is very glassy, so it's nice to send that one packing. And then they got a shiny Weavile, so shout out to this opponent right here for the spice. We definitely chipped them right there. That's about as good as we can do. I don't know their count, so I didn't want to get Avalanche or anything like that. And they make an insane catch on the Dust Noir here, so this opponent is really cooking here. And I tried to catch a move on the Hippowdon, but now they're able to throw a Dynamic Punch, which we barely survive. I was half expecting to see like a Poltergeist or a Shadow Ball, so, you know, whatever. But here's what we do. We stop tapping so that way the opponent could take us out, and we could threaten to farm them down. They switch out going into the Weavile, but we had more energy than they did, and then they top left for the win. GG. So that was a crazy roller coaster match right there. There was a lot going on there, so if you missed some of that, I would replay it and see. There was some crazy stuff going on right there, especially with the Dust Noir and the Hippowdon and us not farming them down and them throwing a move. That was their catastrophic mistake. But anyways, in this one we see a Hisuian Samurott here. Really cool Pokemon. I really don't know its moveset. I see that it's like dark type, so I didn't want to take it like a dark move, like a Payback or a Dark Pulse or something like that. So we throw the Grass Knot, they shield it up, and I'm gonna let this through. I'm assuming we do survive the Xyzer. So shout out to the bulk of Cresselia. That's impressive. We take them out, we boom them. They got a Drifblim, And then we've got the energy on the Qwillfish, man. That was a crazy match though. Like, oh, and then it's not even over. And then they got an Ice Fang, a Shadow Hippowdon on the back. We're gonna shield this Weather Ball. We obviously outpace them, so we're gonna hope that this Scorching Sands does the trick. It does not, but we're able to farm them down for the win. GG's. Our Hippo was hungrier again. Shiny Mamoswine here, pretty spicy if I say so myself. We switched after 2 Poison Sting, so that way the second Mud Slap doesn't register. And we're going straight for the Moonblast on this Spiritomb here. They shielded up. We call the Rock Tomb, but with our decreased bulk, it does take us out after the next Sucker Punch, but that's fine because they still do not have energy to outpace our Overqwil, so we get that Dark Pulse off, which is very valuable here. We're going to shield this move up right here and use this as an opportunity to overfarm considerably. And so we could have thrown one more right there, but I didn't want them to shield and force us to use our last shield. But we have enough energy for after 1 Poison Sting to get to this Aqua Tail. They shielded up even though we're debuffed, and that's going to be a mistake on their part because now I can shield this Icicle Spear here, and they're going to actually try and catch a move. Luckily we withhold from throwing a Weather Ball here, and we nearly take them out, and we get the attack drop here. So this Shadow Punch will still take us out, but it allows us to survive these Astonishes. No, it does not. I think they got damage registration error right there. We had 4 Poison Stings go through, and we were going for our 5th, and they had 3 Astonishes, and it didn't take them out. I uploaded that one to Niantic/Scopely because I think that we should have won that one. But GG's, really cool match though, because we farmed them down. That Mamoswine's cooked. Anyways, Forest Palm Lucario was in, Forest Palm Lucario went out, and then we have these Rock Weather Balls ready for this Togekiss. So I appreciate the spice here as well, pretty cool. But they get a farm down of us, but they really I don't think they have a charge move yet, so we're going to go for a Poison Sting down, but they switch into a Bastiodon, and I'm totally fine with this because we need the energy from Overqwil onto this excuse me, onto this Bastiodon. Sorry, dry throat here. And so now we're able to have a more manageable matchup with our Cresselia here. We're just spamming out Grass Knots, and more importantly, I wanted to save the Overqwil for the Togekiss in case of a catching potential or just Poison Stinging it down. But luckily, I'm not even gonna test the bulk of our Cresselia here. We're shielding that up, and we actually get the catch on the Togekiss here. So we catch the Ancient Power, we're able to farm them down, and then we get to this Grass Knot here. I could have went for the BM with the Moonblast, but I just didn't want to risk it at this point. And then we get that win. GG's. Alright, final match here. Bastion on the lead. You're going to finally see how this plays out with the Qwillfish here. Like I said before, I love the Poison Sting Aqua Tail combination because we can just throw on good timing as soon as we get to the move. And they've thrown 6 Smackdowns, 7th takes them to a Stone Edge, and we catch this move here. Let's go. So now we have an energy lead on the Vespiquen because we snuck in a Sand Attack, and then we're able to get off heavy damage on this Vespiquen. We're going to definitely shield this up because we outpace, and we see if the opponent wants to keep their Vespiquen or not, or if they want to keep switch. So they shield it up, and we're going to probably let this through. Yes. And now we're going to go for an aggressive farm down here. They will get to another move, so we will happily shield this up. But this, like I said, this energy is very valuable on the Overqwil here, and they've got a Hippowdon, so even more so. They are double weak to Aqua Tail, or to the water typing here. So we do get this second shield, and now we come in with our Cresselia. They know that they can't stay in to take a Grass Knot here, but they decide to throw a move regardless, which is totally fine. Just gives us more energy and opportunity to overfarm. I didn't want them to get to a second Scorching Sands before I throw my move here, so I play it safe. And now they go for a catch here on their Vespiquen, and they fail in doing so. So now we're able to have ample energy. We throw one move here, and then we get to the second Grass Knot here, which will definitely the opponent force close the app. They should know better. All right, GG's. And that's all our matches. So hopefully you enjoyed these battles. I really wish that I could have made this a veteran rank video, but sometimes things don't always work out the way they do. But nevertheless, I thought there were some very spicy and cool battles, and hopefully you feel the same about it. And I'll definitely be more on top of my ish when it comes to the Sunshine Cup. I already got some crazy ideas that I'm ready to explore once I finish editing and posting this video. So if you're new here again and you enjoyed this video, definitely please subscribe and check out my other videos on this channel, because there's bound to be something that you enjoy. If there's something you want to see, whether it's a team or a Pokemon or a type of content, whether streaming, etc., let me know in the comments. The comments really help out the video, gets it into the YouTube algorithm, more people see it, and that way I'm able to make some better content for all of you. But and also, if you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like. Let me know in the comments that you enjoyed it. My eye's feeling better, so I'm definitely back at 100%. So without further ado, I'm going to start editing this one and get ready for the next video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.